Hello everyone, my name is Noah Hansen and today I'll be presenting the second teacher resource I have created for the purpose of discussing, examining and illuminating some of the key concepts relating to engaging learners, managing classrooms and educational neuroscience. This video was created so that it might serve as an addendum and extension of my written resource, which is available at the attached hyperlink. The focus of today's presentation will be upon learning styles, more specifically the myths of learning styles, the negative consequences of this myth within the classroom, and why it is in the interest of educators to be aware of this myth for their own professional development and for the well-being of their students. The term learning styles is a label used to refer to a broad, highly diverse range of theories intended to explain the evident differences in human learning. The concept of learning styles was largely pioneered and popularized by New Zealand teaching inspector Neil Fleming following the development of the visual, oral, read-write, and kinesthetic or VARK model. Fleming created the VARK model with the intention of expediting and refining the natural process of discovering student learning preferences, strengths, and needs. The questionnaire, composed of 16 multiple choice questions, is designed to place students within one of 4 categories defined by the model. This placement is defined as their learning style, with each style defined by a learning relationship between one or more preferred senses or mediums. For example, a student placed in the visual category would, by the logic of the model and the test, see an enhancement in learning with visual material, such as images and videos, and be more likely to struggle outside of a visual context. With this information, Fleming believed that students and teachers would be empowered to grow and adapt their study and teaching habits to better suit their individual needs, thus increasing both the efficacy and efficiency of study and teaching. It was upon this model that nearly every subsequent system of learning style classification has been based. Since the publication of the VARK model in 1987, more than 70 systems of learning style classification have been developed and adopted internationally. The concept of learning styles and their efficacy in the classroom is now an ingrained, near ubiquitous idea within education, so much so that a 2004 review of 37 studies involving 15,405 educators across 18 countries found that 89.1% of participants were of the belief that learning styles were of benefit within the classroom, with this number being considerably higher in trainee teachers at 95.4%. Of the participants who believed learning styles to have value within the classroom, 78.4% were either already employing them within their own practice or intended to. While everyone within the audience is likely already familiar with the concept of learning styles, what may be surprising is that available evidence and research suggests that the efficacy of learning styles within the classroom is actually a myth. Despite the incredible prevalence of the concept within modern education and the faith placed in it by educators, there is very little evidence to support learning styles as a valid pedagogical scientific concept. In fact, research suggests that belief in learning styles and their use within the classroom may actually have negative consequences for both teachers and students alike. The most immediate consequence for educators can be seen in the fact that employing learning styles as a pedagogical tool within the classroom necessarily requires the creation of additional differentiated resource to accommodate the perceived needs of students. For example, a teacher abiding by the definitions described by a learning style model will likely feel obligated to create resources appropriately. This can include printing additional visual content such as images and graphics for visual learners, or bringing in props and interactable objects for kinesthetic learners. In a profession where time is scarce and resources are decidedly limited, it is vital that teachers make the most out of what they have. Operating a classroom in this manner is wasteful and time-consuming, and the additional effort required to do so has no tangible benefit for the class. Additionally, the concept of learning styles inflicts arbitrary expectations upon students that may be discouraging, maladaptive, and constraining. An example of this includes a student described as a visual learner believing themselves unsuited for certain elements of classwork, such as worksheets or written assignments. This, in turn, can generate negative study habits, wherein which students become dependent on specific, limited skills as those are the only ones that they believe to be effective. The consequences of this can be far-reaching, as students may decide that certain subjects, skills, or even career choices may be off limits to them because their learning style doesn't meet the expectations of that environment. The inverse is equally true, whereby students may be encouraged to participate in subjects or pursue careers on the basis of being compatible with them, despite lacking in interest or motivation. With the reality and consequences of learning styles in mind, it is important for educators to develop new and innovative strategies to overcome the failings of this theory, while striving towards the same goals of bettering student outcomes and deepening professional knowledge. An effective tool in this regard is task-based design. One of the key shortcomings of the learning styles theory is that it fails to account for the vast majority of skills that require students to engage in multi-contextual practice. Very few tasks are solely visual or solely written. They nearly always contain multiple contexts. Task-based design is a method of task development in which students train learners. Task-based design is a method of task development in which educators train learners in a fashion that reflects or emulates the specific needs of the task the learner is being trained for. Following task-based design, a lesson preparing students for a multimodal oral presentation will require students to engage with written, visual, and oral contexts. This method manages to avoid the limitations of a learning style model while encouraging students to develop healthy study habits in a variety of contexts. To reinforce this, teachers may update and improve their practice through assessing student performance and identifying areas with which the class is struggling. Thank you for listening to this presentation. It is my sincere hope that this content has expanded your interest on a topic with which I am deeply fascinated and provided you with an insight as to why knowledge of the subject is valuable to all educators. Thank you very much.